in schools. Schools need to be ready for it. They need to want to jump on board and actually dive into this. Their leadership, their organisation needs to be kind of wanting this. And that's the kind of authentic, genuine partnership which cultural organisations can do with schools. And that's where I think that's the core of how, that's a new model of collaboration for me. It's partnerships, authentic, genuine and real. Cheers.
Thanks so much, Frank. Can I ask all of our speakers to come and join us here, including Nick Sirota? And if we could have one of our staff just bring one of these chairs. All of our friends and colleagues online watching this live, so I'm just going to go to the first Slido question, and then we'll throw to the floor. So the question is, all knowledge, all creative process, considering that creativity is a core human ability, how can we enhance autonomy and stop teaching packaged knowledge? I think a lot of our speakers in this last panel have been talking about how you don't want to package knowledge, you don't want to have a packaged tool, you want something which is quite different to that. So how can we enhance autonomy and stop teaching packaged knowledge? Who's game? Who's game enough? Microphones seem to be a bit low. Try it again. Try number one.
Sorry, that works now. Sorry, I just need to be turned on. Yeah, I work performing arts guy here. Sorry.
Yeah, turn on the mic.
So I think packaged knowledge is interesting. I think one of the sort of good which is or service which is delivered, there need to be emergent learning environments. So the way that learning needs to be thought about is something where teachers need to be confident that an answer will arise or a creative solution or at that moment will arise through a process that is about creativity, which is driven by a creative mindset. And if teachers can go into that space rather than going, I need to teach this and mapping backwards from that and developing a curriculum to answer that, but go, actually, I'm going to have a line of inquiry to unpack this, and they work in partnership across faculty, then I think those kinds of issues can be addressed.
Yeah, and I think all of you have really addressed this whole idea of being in partnership with communities, with the people who come into your galleries or to the place. Deborah, do you want to talk a little bit about how you manage that down in Bundanon? There were some great examples we saw there.
Yeah, I think that maybe we're quite lucky in that we're actually able to have a dialogue with schools. Some schools come through to us quite quickly, so the relationship is a shorter one, but where there are regional schools where we can talk over time about the kind of things they're trying to address, a bit like the example with East Nowra Primary School, we were really able to see that we could step in and add value to what they were trying to do, and they were prepared to trust us and go on a bit of a journey. They didn't really know the song company and so on. So we were able to build that over time. So that is about building relationships with the schools and building trust and allowing and for them to be able to have a slightly more open-ended outcome, which is probably sometimes much more possible with primary school. I really, I fear beating up on teachers in secondary schools or on the schools themselves. I think they're under such enormous pressure. It absolutely shocks me that actually in secondary school they often need to finish a lesson with a finished product, that somehow there is a cycle where they have to get a product.
That you have a product at the end. And Tony, working in community schools, how's that been? Because it seems like it's absolutely not about product but process.
Well, there's nothing there. That's the reality and how hard life is. That Warracoona is a place where people still have to hunt for food. What is happening within the school, and it's a transient nature. People are there, often teachers, unfortunately, because it's part of, their due diligence to work within a community rather than want to be there. There's definitely cases that I've been in with communities where there is a white side of the community and a black side, and that there's no integration outside of the reason you're there. But I think remotely it's part of the invisibility of these people within our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nick, at the Art Gallery of South Australia, you worked in similar ways trying to bring different communities in.
I think the key is to try to create memorable experiences that people connect with. And you don't know what they look like but you know what they feel like. So you have to have a frame that you work with, try to create a safe zone for those things to happen.
Yep, yeah, fantastic. Nick, I think you wanted to speak as well. And I've got a question that I'm going to throw to you as well. So make your comment and then I'll answer throw the question from Slido.
I think my comment really was an observation, which is that in both the last two sessions, one of the threads that has been running through is the engagement of young people's minds through watching teachers as well and training teachers, and the fact that artists are engaged within schools is really very, and within galleries. It's one of the great things that galleries and theatres. I was talking to the head of the school in the southwest of England, which is sort of 300 miles from the base of the Royal Shakespeare Company. The Royal Shakespeare Company had visited the school, and he said it had transformed the school, not just within the drama department, not just within the English department, but for young people to understand that you can be a practitioner. There is a craft, there is something to learn, there's something to admire, and there's something to